next big wave everyone's talking about is securities tokens. Are you a believer that securities tokens are going to be the next big flow into the blockchain?
I think security tokens are still legally murky right now. The SEC does not seem to like them. I like the fact that securities tokens provide entrepreneurs with, not really entrepreneurs, but more VCs and investors with some sort of early exit strategy if they think that that's wise. But I think that securities tokens will need to go through a lot of rigor and a lot of legal footprinting and a lot of case law before they really get to a point where they're widely in use.
Now, our next guest is the guy that loves securities tokens. He has over 109,000 followers on Twitter, and he's the guy that keeps screaming securities tokens. Anthony Pompliano, you're making big waves in the media these days. Your company, Full Tilt Capital, was recently purchased by Morgan Creek. Tell us a little bit about the transaction.
Absolutely. Morgan Creek is a multi-billion-dollar asset manager. They've built an entire business around being a firewall between institutional capital and new emerging technologies and markets. And so they've done this across a number of different verticals previously. And Mark Yusko and the team over there are incredibly excited about blockchain technology. And they came to us, and we're excited to partner with them so that the two of us can together go and tackle this, new emerging technologies.
And what's the mandate of the new company?
Yeah, so look, we're incredibly excited about blockchain technology specifically, and what ends up being called tokenized securities, right? And so what we're planning to do here is we're going to go explore the ability for us to deploy capital to buy equity in companies and real estate where the financial transaction is done over the blockchain. And so we think it's a more efficient transaction. And we think that'll give us access to the cheapest capital in the market, which brings a whole host of advantages when you sit in the investor seat.
And give us an example of why you're so excited about this technology.
Yeah, so I'll give you a real world example, right? So just this week, there was a Chinese conglomerate that exported a bunch of gasoline to Singapore. And they did the entire transaction on the blockchain, right? So it's the first full commodity transaction on the blockchain. And the Chinese conglomerate estimates that they saved about 20 to 30% of the transaction cost by doing it over the blockchain versus their traditional process. And so we think the same thing is true not only in commodity transactions, but in financial transactions as well. And so whether we're buying equity in companies, if we're buying real estate, et cetera, not only is the transaction itself more efficient, but when we give money to these entities, what we're receiving in exchange is not an analog share. It's not a paper share. It's not an electronic share that you would see like in the stock market. We're receiving a token, right? A digital share. And so that digital share brings a whole host of advantages as well that has us really excited about the tokenized security space.
And let's move back to our topic here tonight. Are you panicking about the Bitcoin price?
I really like this idea of security tokens. I know some people think it's a joke, but for me, and one of my main reasons of doing this YouTube channel, if you guys haven't heard, I would love to securitize my real estate investments. I right now have 3 different investment partners that I do my real estate investments with, and they're awesome. I love working with them. But I also love cryptocurrencies, and I love the idea of being able to take my portfolio or just take a couple properties and be like, hey, you guys like me? You guys want to own some real estate in California or wherever? It would be awesome to be able to take some of my equity and to securitize it and get people to invest in something that's a little more tangible than some of these bullshit scam coins, especially if you are a US citizen, that this security token really does protect your interest, and you have, because the way real estate transactions work, if I do sell this property, it goes through escrow, and escrow will not allow the title to change until I pay out, whoever else is on title, which would also be the security tokens. So I really like this. I really do hope this technology emerges, and if it does, I've preached in the past, I'm not going to sell you guys anything. I make enough money on my real estate investments, and I also have a medical diagnostic company, so I make enough money where I'm not trying to sell anything. But I take that back, and in the future, I would love to continue to buy real estate and continue to do real estate investments, and if I can create a token and allow this audience, allow people that I went to school with, whoever, to get involved and say, hey, instead of having to file all this paperwork and do all this stuff, you can just buy this token, and then obviously there's income that comes from the rental property, and if the property is sold at a future date, or you decide to sell it on the market, it won't affect me, and I think this would be great. So in the future, if I can do this, I would love to create a real estate backed security token, and we'll have to just wait and see how it evolves. And that's one other reason too why I'm big on the Ethereum blockchain with the smart contracts. I think and obviously now that there's other competitors like EOS, Cardano, Stellar, you name it, whichever one makes a legit and very easy to use, which I don't think in the beginning it's going to be easy, but whoever does create a real estate token, I will definitely buy a lot of that. And like I said, I would look into creating my own real estate token. But let me know what you guys think. And if you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to the channel. And I will talk to you guys soon.